Well, of course, all of these exercises and this whole method of preparation is drawn directly from chapter 12 of your text on cause and effect. And that's what we're going through to prepare you for this essay. Now, I'm asking for you to be a little bit more elaborate in your preparation for this essay than we've been in some of the previous ones. The idea is to get you to go through all of the usual writing steps in preparing a full force college essay. It's still a 1-3-1, but we're going to do a little bit more prep work, let's say, on this one. You're given a list of possible thesis statements. It asks you to take those sample thesis statements and make a scratch outline from them. Example, the first one here, many youngsters are terrified of school. Okay, what are the causes of their being terrified of school? And so we would come up with reasons why youngsters might be terrified of school. Well, that shouldn't be too hard to remember. The first one is that they're probably afraid of not being liked by the other students. Big cause, right? Those of you who are parents, or those of you who remember your own youth, I mean, this is a very common one. It's a big one. So that would be, in your scratch outline, that would be A. B, let's see. Well, we're always afraid of failing. So B, afraid of failing tests, maybe. That should give us enough for a paragraph. And C, let's see. Well, C, weren't we intimidated by the teachers? Okay. They're intimidated by the whole system, but as a kid, you're especially intimidated by teachers, you know, people like me. C, intimidated by teachers. All right, that's our first scratch outline. We have the thesis statement and A, B, C, the three big reasons, each of which we can make a paragraph from. Then we're given a number of other choices here, and we're supposed to do this with 4 of them. Okay, the next one, having more mothers in the workforce has changed the way many kids grow up. Well, there's less supervision for many children. What are two other ways? Well, the mother probably has when she is home, she's trying to get her chores done, because often the husband doesn't help, even though she's working too. Not always. I'm a husband and was a very helpful one. So the third effect is that kids may actually be given more money, more goods, because the mother is working. So we're substituting money and goods for attention. Not always good. Now, I'm not taking a side in this. My own wife worked all the time that our son was in school. The next one. Americans tend to get married later in life than they used to. Well, it's not always true. There's still people getting married at 17 years old. But if they're getting married later in life, what effects would that have? Well, it would probably mean what? Well, you're going to get to think of these. Perhaps fewer children get born. People are more affluent when they get married. What's another change by getting married later than getting married earlier? You can think of that yourself. Now, there's 10 of these altogether, and you're just choosing the 4. Once you have made a scratch outline, you put them all in the same little box. Once you've made the scratch outline, then choose the one of those, one of the scratch outlines that you think turned out the best, and that one is going to be the basis for your cause and effect essay. Okay, you're going to do great with this. Now, as I said, we're a little bit more elaborate in in this this assignment about the amount of preparation that we do, asking you to go through all the steps. So you choose from the outlines that you created, the scratch outlines that you created, and it asks first of all to repeat your scratch outline here, and by doing it like so. What is your thesis or main idea? Let's use that first one. Many youngsters are terrified of school. And what was our first supporting point on that? Children are afraid of not being liked, right? Okay, first supporting point. What is your second supporting point? Well, the second supporting point, children are afraid of failing tests. And what is your third supporting point? Let's see. Do a little copy work here. Are intimidated their teachers. Okay, so that gives you your three big supporting points. Oh, it goes on. Decide whether you're going to support each of your main points with several short examples or with one extended example. And it says that you might want to use some of the following: statistics, an explanation, a quotation by an expert, or examples. Now, in order to find these, feel free to use Google to find useful statistics. And it asks you to write one of the introduction types, like, why are children often so frightened of going to school? It is sometimes hard to get them up in the morning to face the day because of fear. And we would put what our plan of development. Children are often afraid for three reasons: fear of not being liked, fear of failing tests, and fear of teachers. Well, I made those all parallel items. That never hurts, huh? Okay, now it asks you to write a first draft of your three supporting paragraphs, so we know how to do that. First, a nice transition word. There is the normal fear most children have of not being liked. We can find a quote on that by going to something like Bartlett's Familiar Quotations on the internet, and find a quote by Mark Twain about not being liked, something like that. As Mark Twain said, and then we find a nice little quote by Mark Twain to tuck it in there. After you have written your three paragraphs, all in the same box, by the way, it asks which kind of conclusion you're going to use, and to write a draft of your conclusion. Okay, now revising. After you completed the first draft of the paper, it says set it aside for a while, if that's possible. When you reread what you've written, prepare for rewriting it in. I like the last point most. Can I make the essay more interesting by using more specific words, colors, senses, touches of humor, personal experience? Well, of course we can, especially in something like this, because we were probably all afraid of going to school at one time or another. It's normal. You know you're going to do several drafts of this in Word before you think of sending it to me. Draft and paste it right in here. Okay? Thank you.